everyone, and welcome back to the Halls of Music. This is a video that is a member of a series of videos where we are taking half notes in a 4/4 time signature to learn a few basic strumming techniques. These videos will concentrate on the right hand. Once you have the little techniques down that are taught in this video, you should immediately use those techniques to be creative and come up with your own rhythms on the guitar. No matter how old you are or what your age is, you have been listening to music your entire life. You're familiar with what it sounds like and what it feels like. Once you get the basic idea of strumming down, being creative and trying new things with your right hand will teach you so much about rhythm guitar. This video also will show you how to use the metronome to use these same techniques, the exercises, and being creative. We have the metronome set up as a drum machine so that it's easier to feel like you're playing with a live human being. This will help your imagination to adapt to the rhythms and to come up with new ideas. Look to the end of this video to know how to set up the metronome for the exercises in this video. The most important thing for you to do is to have fun and enjoy your experience of playing the guitar. I hope that these videos break down the idea of playing rhythm guitar in a way that's simple, easy, and fun for you to begin to adapt to both the exercises and to beginning to be creative with your right hand with strum patterns and coming up with your unique way of playing the guitar. Have fun! Let's start with the basic skills that you're going to need to be able to play along with this video. The first chord that we're going to explore is going to be C major. We're going to put our first finger on the first fret of the second string. That is a C. We're going to put our second finger on the second fret of the fourth string on that E. And we'll put our third finger on the third fret of the fifth string on that C. You will strum from the fifth string out, so be sure to use your eyeballs for the exercises. If you accidentally hit the sixth string, it's going to sound fine. For the exercise's sake, you're going to want to make sure that you strum from the fifth string out so that you develop the coordination that's needed to be able to play in a more accurate manner. But when you're being creative, just let loose and have fun. You can strum all 6 strings or just a few when you're being creative. Another aspect of the C major chord that is important to know is the notes that comprise the C major chord. C major is made up of the notes C, E, and G. They can be in any order. As long as it's C, E, and G, it's going to be a C chord. So we have a C here on the 5th fret, 3rd string, an E on the 4th fret, on the 2nd fret, 4th string. G is the open 3rd string, and then C is the 1st fret 2nd string, and then E is the 1st string open. So that is a C major chord. You can also add the low E, and it's still a C major chord. If you want to get a little fancier with your C major, you can add a G on the 6th string and have G, C, E, G, C, E. Even though G is the lowest note, it's still a C major chord. Remember, C major has the notes C, E, and G in it. The first exercise that we're going to be going over is with C major using half notes. The half note is going to be coming in on beat 1 and lasting for beat 2. So 1, 2. And another half note will start on beat 3 and last over beat 4. 3, 4. We're going to strum straight through all 5 strings with this particular exercise. You are welcome to play along with me in this video. Be sure to be able to do this on your own at home without the assistance of the video. I will count to 4 one time and begin the exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next exercise that we're going to be doing is this exact same thing we just did, but without counting out loud while we play. In this particular exercise, the challenge is to keep the pulse going. You will notice that I probably bob my head and move my body a bit in order to keep the pulse of what I count in going and make my half notes accurate. I will give you an example exercise. Feel free to play along, but be sure to be able to do this on your own at home without the assistance of the video. 1, 2, 3, 4. I find myself moving my body and tapping my foot. In the next exercise, we are going to use the coordination that we just developed to be able to springboard ourselves into some creative ideas. In this particular exercise, the goals that we are trying to achieve is to keep the pulse going, count ourselves in, and keep that pulse going while being creative with the right hand. This will teach you a great deal about rhythm and how to use your right hand to create rhythms. The music happens with us first. Before we write it down, before we name it half notes or call it 4/4 or any other time signature, the music is happening within us. You are the composer. You can come up with ideas of your own and teach yourself so much on your own by being creative that it is absolutely amazing. I hope that you have fun with this. Here is an example of how to do this. Be sure to be able to do this on your own at home. My example is going to have a beginning, middle, and end. I will start with half notes and then branch out into the world of whatever I want to come up with and then come back to half notes and end it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that example had some quarter notes and some eighth notes in it. The most important thing is that I kept the pulse going and had a great time doing it. I also only used downstrokes. I didn't use any upstrokes, just downstrokes, to keep things simple and fun for this first exercise. I will start incorporating upstrokes eventually, but not in the beginning because I think it's important to keep things simple and make it easier to walk through the door of creativity with your right hand. So now let's get into the exercises while using the metronome. We're going to be strumming half notes with the metronome. The metronome is at 75 beats per minute. I have a bass drum on beat 1, snare on beat 2, bass drum on beat 3, snare on beat 4. That means we're going to be strumming when the bass notes happen. We are going to be strumming through the 5 strings of C major. I will count to 4 and begin the exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Part of the skill set of this particular part of the video is being able to set up the metronome accurately. The video that shows you how to do that is the last time code in this video. The next exercise is going to be strumming with the metronome without counting out loud. The metronome is set up at 75 beats per minute with a bass drum on beat 1, snare on beat 2, bass drum on beat 3, snare on beat 4. That means that we are strumming when the bass drums happen. We are going to be strumming through all 5 strings. Use your eyes. I will count to 4 and begin the exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4. next exercise is playing along with the metronome, the drum machine, and being creative with our right hand. This time, I'm going to start with some half notes and then branch out and do some different things and come back to half notes at the end. That means the half notes should be landing on the bass drums. Be sure to be able to do this at home on your own with the metronome without the assistance of this video. I will count to 4 and begin the example. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so I used some quarter notes and eighth notes. I also used some upstrokes a bit. I had some repeating rhythms in there, which is something you want to do. You want to find little repeating. Little repeating rhythms like that. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. When you find little repetitious things that you can do like that, you know you're landing into your rhythmic center as a rhythm guitar player. All songs that you listen to on the radio have repeating rhythmic ideas like that. We call them rhythmic motives. It's just short little rhythmic ideas that go on through the entire piece to keep the motion of the tune going so that we are able to dance and sing and play along with the tune. Have fun. In this next exercise with C major, we are going to use a technique that you will find to be very useful as you develop in your rhythm guitar studies. We're going to strum with the half note coming in on beat 1, lasting for beat 1 and 2, and strumming again on beat 3 with the half note lasting over beat 4. This time though, we are going to strum the bottom part of the guitar or the lower part of the chord on beat 1, and on beat 3, we're going to strum the higher part of the chord. The strum technique is down here and then up here. If you want to just practice that some without counting, that would probably be a good idea. Just get used to strumming the lower strings and the higher strings. You can practice that a bit before you try to count and play. Now I'm going to give you an example of how to do this with counting and playing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's do the exercise where we maintain this pulse and rhythm, strumming the bass end of the chord, the lower notes on beats 1, and on beat 3, strumming the higher parts of the chord. This time we're going to count ourselves in and maintain the pulse and the rhythm without counting out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. Going to be creative with this technique. Using that technique, we'll start with half notes, just like we did in the other exercises, and then branch out, and I will start to use this technique when I am being creative, coming back to half notes at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, you can copy my ideas if you want to, but it is important for you to Explore and find your own rhythms and ideas as well. You have the music in you. You have to tap into it and bring it out. Be sure to come up with your own ideas because you want to tap into your music and what you have within you to bring forth in your creativity. All right, the next set of exercises we're doing with C major is going to be strumming with the metronome, or the drum machine. We're going to be strumming the bass on beats 1, lasting for beat 2, and the high notes on beat 3, lasting for beat 4. In this particular exercise, we're going to be playing along with the metronome, which is at 75 beats per minute, with the bass drum on beat 1, snare on beat 2, bass drum on beat 3, snare on beat 4, which means we're strumming on the bass drums. I will count to 4 and begin the exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next exercise is going to be strumming along with the metronome without counting out loud, using the strum technique of strumming the bass notes first and then the high on beat 1, and then the high notes second on beat 3. I will count to 4 and begin the exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next example is going to be using this strum technique of strumming the bass notes on beat 1 and the high notes on beat 3. And I'm going to be attempting to be creative with the metronome. This example may get a little bit confusing. It may sound awkward, but that's okay. It's all right to be trying to be creative and not come up with something amazing every single time you play. The most important thing is to be having fun so that you want to try to do it tomorrow. So if it sounds a little awkward or it feels a little out of place, don't let that stop you from trying it again and again and again. You will teach yourself so much about rhythm and strumming if you continue to make efforts to be creative and counting and maintaining a pulse as you strum. The drum machine is set up at 75 beats per minute with a bass drum on beat 1, snare on beat 2, bass drum on beat 3, snare on beat 4. I will count to 4 and give you an example of being creative with this drum technique. 1, 2, 3, 4. I used some upstrokes. Sometimes I repeated the downstrokes on the bass. Sometimes I did double upstrokes on the high strings. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you're trying to incorporate that strumming the low strings and high strings technique with being creative and maintaining some sense of accountability with the metronome and the drums. You're getting this example of being creative with this technique down. You're getting it. Again, if it's a little awkward and doesn't feel quite right, that's all right. Try again tomorrow or try again later today. You may have more success with it then. The most important thing is to be having fun and wanting and being eager to pick your guitar back up, to be creative, and to learn something new about strumming with it the next time you pick it up. Have fun. All right, so let's set up the metronome for this video. We're gonna go over here to the tools option and make sure that the tone setting is on 12. You can adjust that if needed. So let's go back over here to the center, and we wanna go down here to our 4/4 option, or the time signature button, making sure that the time signature is indeed on 4/4. If you need to adjust that, you can very easily adjust it. You want to make sure that the quarter note symbol is the one that's pressed, because we are not using any of the subdivisions or hi-hats. Go back to the center. We're going to set our time up at 75. So we're going to set it up with an external speaker so that it has a nice bold sound. You can see we have a bass drum on beat 1, snare on beat 2, bass 3, snare on 4. If you need to adjust those, you just have to push them like this and it will change. The snare is the bass drum is all 3 blocks. The snare is 2 blocks, bass drum 3 blocks, snare 2 blocks. And there you have it. You're set up and ready to go for the exercises in this video. If the exercises are going too fast, just slow it down. That's all you have to do. If you want to try to challenge yourself to go faster, you can easily speed up. All right, have a fantastic time with your guitar, learning how to play rhythm guitar consistently and with great time and being creative.